Guys, this is already not going great. So basically, I will forewarn you, this video is gonna make less sense than usual and be way less cohesive, and I'm probably not gonna be making full sentences, even worse than usual, because this morning I woke up and I felt really shaky, which a lot of times just means I'm hungry, and like, unlike a normal person, my body won't just like wake me up in the middle of the night to go get a snack. I will just wake up ravenous, and then my body will be like shaky. And that's what happened today. And even though I've eaten and had time to like digest, and like it's been a couple hours and I've eaten again, I'm not cohesive. Like, I'm having a really hard time focusing, and I will apologize. And I'm also apologizing to editing me, because this is going to be a shit show, quite honestly. However, this video is coming out August 1st, and I'm determined so that it is on time August 1st. So, hello everyone, and welcome to whatever this video is going to become. My name is Zarina, and today we're going to be going through my TBR for the month of August. Yay! So, while I do have two brain cells kind of rubbing together, let us get through these books. You'll also notice that I am sitting, and that is because once in a while I will faint when I'm not feeling well. I don't feel like I'm going to faint right now, but because I am home alone, and because I'm in front of my bookshelves, and I don't really want to go backwards into them in case I do faint, I'm just gonna be in the chair. Cool. This also works out, because I need to bring out my laptop. We'll get into it. Anyway, so the first category of books that I'm going to be talking about is my like slow books or nighttime books. These are books for me that I read right before I go to bed, and I either need more focus to get through them, or I want to enjoy them more, and like for me, in a quiet environment at night, like right before I go to bed, is like the perfect time to do that. I thought I was going to have to tell you for the third month in a row that Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab were going to be on this list, but I finished it last night, which I was not expecting on doing. The first slow book for the month is going to be Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. Some of you know that I'm currently doing a reread of the Hunger Games series? Holy shit. The Hunger Games series, so that I can read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm officially on Catching Fire. Last month, I did like one chapter a night. I think that was a little bit too slow, especially because some of the chapters, most of them were decent, but like once in a while I get like a 5-page and under chapter, and I was like, So we're gonna go 2 chapters a night for this. And then the next book that I'm gonna be reading as like my slow like bedtime book for the month is Song of Silver Flame Like Night. I'm already on page 18, which the reason why is because I started reading this as like a regular book for the month, but as I was reading it, I feel like it has the potential to be a 5-star read, and I feel like I just have to take my time with it. So that's why this is there. So if I do have more time, I'm going to read Mockingjay next, though I do think this will take me all month. I feel like I feel pretty solid in these choices, but I will be reading Mockingjay. And then some of you who follow me on Storygraph might know that I'm currently reading Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Sorry, it just took me a hot second to pick it up. Honestly, I'm on page 200, and it's just a little too much for me, especially like trying to read it the way I do, where like I try to get through a 500-page book a day, even though that doesn't really happen. It's more like 500-page book for every 2 days, but just because of how heavy and dark the material is, I'm gonna take it off my like fast book read list, and this is gonna get moved to the nighttime books after Mockingjay. The next category that I'm going to be talking about are like my textbooks for the month. Even though I'm out of school, I still try to do like learning of a kind. So one of them has not changed, and that is the Northern Anthology for World Literature. Not because I've actually made progress in it, it's actually because I did not open this a single time last month, even though I said I was going to. I do have more faith in myself to get through more of this because I am starting work, and my work usually consists of me sitting at a desk when things are good, and like a lot of spare time at a desk. So this will work out for me. I don't know where the end of that sentence is going. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I deal with. You guys have to deal with this when you watch my videos. I have to deal with this 24/7, including my inner monologue, just like fully just blanking out. It's so much fun. I'm having a great time. Yes, and then my other book for like my language learning materials have changed. If you know, I've been working on my Korean textbooks recently. However, my grandma bought me a beginning Japanese textbook, mainly because I'm going to Japan in 2 years. I haven't booked any of it, right? Because like you can only book a year out, but I'm like determined to go because I've always wanted to go. And I feel like it would be really cool if my first trip that I pay for myself is going to Japan. Hopefully they're still allowing tourists in, because I know that there's a big issue with tourists. I'm trying to go during an off season, so maybe that'll be better. But yeah, I'm planning on going, and I typically have a rule where I don't go to countries unless I speak the language. And yeah, that trip to Japan would be like a week in Japan and then a week in South Korea. But because I speak Korean pretty passively, in the sense where like I could ask for directions and ask where the bathroom is and like listen to people and I understand what's going on, figured it's time to switch to Japanese. And because the language, not like of course the words or the alphabet are similar, but because the format of the sentence is pretty similar, I do have to pause Korean, because I already, even with the fact that I paused studying Korean and I'm like trying to do this, I've noticed that I'm starting to mix things up, so I really just have to keep them separate. I'm probably gonna switch back to French in the meantime, just so that I can keep up one of my other languages while I'm learning Japanese. The only issue that I tend to have with that is my brain does have a hard time keeping languages apart, even if they have nothing to do with each other. My favorite is when I forget the word for and in Spanish and then it comes out in Korean. Like, my brain is kind of dumb in that way. Guys, it's so hard to focus! I don't know what to do. Oh, hello. That's the sound of my last brain cells leaving and dying. The next category of books I'm going to be talking about are the other rereads I'm focused on. I don't typically like to do multiple series rereads at the same time, but this series I just really have to start because there's just so many books and they're so big. And that is the Keeper of the Lost City series by Shannon Messenger. My goal this month is to get through the first 2 books, so that's gonna be regular, just like Keeper of the Lost Cities and then Keeper of the Lost Cities Exile. I love this series and I have not read 9.5. I've been following this series literally since like elementary school or like middle school, and they're still coming out. Book 10 is supposed to come out this year, and like not this year, I don't know when book 10 is supposed to come out, but like I gotta catch up. Like I gotta be ready because book 10 is finally the last book of the series. I refuse to not go day of to get the book, and the only way I can do that is if 1, I have a new release slip from the TBR Jar, and 2, I've reread the entire series up to that, including book 9.5 that I don't even have yet. So I got things to work out, and both of these books are big. So if you've never heard of Keeper of the Lost Cities, basically it follows this girl named Sophie, who she is a bit of a child prodigy and like genius, and she has photographic memory, and we find out very quickly that she has telepathy, and she's never really fit in with other humans until one day she's on a field trip with her class, and this like guy is like staring at her, and she's like, what the heck? And he's like, so like low-key, turns out you're not a human. You are an elf, and we live in the lost cities like Atlantis, or like a bunch of like, I'm forgetting literally every other name of lost cities in history, but basically the story is that the elves actually hid from humans in these lost cities, and that's why to the humans they're lost, but to the elves, like that's where they live. And elf society is like this much more elegant world where people rarely break laws, and the existence of Sophie, who's been living with humans, is kind of like never been heard of before, and she basically comes in and kind of disrupts society a little bit, as well as like there's a secret organization that is working to bring down elf society. It's really cool. It sounds stupid while I'm explaining this because when I like say elf, you really don't think of, I mean, some people might think of like Lord of the Rings, and I feel like that is the closest representation of elves as in here, but I feel like the world is really unique and I love the character dynamics. I feel like I'm 100 pages into book 1 already. Spot I am just like hanging out in as my bookmark, but the books are so funny. Like I've literally laughed out loud. I lolled. I don't know what's going on. I laughed so many times already in the first 100 pages. I've personally tried to make everyone I know read these books, and no one's ever made it to the end. I feel like Cynthia and Maddie made it the farthest. Congrats to you guys, because I think both of you made it to like book 5 or 6. Yeah, and I appreciate it because I know there's a fuck ton of books, and I feel like after book 4 or 5, they all are like 600 to 700 pages. Anyway, moving on. So now for the most exciting part of the video, where I use a TBR jar to give myself some dopamine, because then I can pretend they're kind of like blind boxes. But basically, my TBR jar is 400-ish slips of paper. Hold on, let me get it. Ah, I almost kicked my water. Holy shit. I need to move this. This is an accident waiting to happen. Guys, my electronic TBR has reached over 1,500 books. And I've decided that I'm cutting myself off at 1,500. I think that's a crazy number because according to my finished books on Goodreads, on my finished books of all time on Goodreads, I finished 250 books. Have I only had this Goodreads account for like maybe 2 years, 2.5 years-ish? Yes. But is my electronic TBR still 6 times the amount of books I've read? Yes. So I'm putting a pause on that, and I'm making a new rule for myself that I can only add 10 books to the TBR if I finish 100. And that, like, for most people, that's like a year's worth of books. I would agree. And that's the point, because I need to stop. In here, we still have about 400 slips left before we refill it with the new stuff that I want to add. So yeah, luckily I no longer have like a backstock of books other than my rereads that I'm like working through until I can pull from here. But so the mistake that I made last month was I put 10 books on my TBR that included my textbooks and included my like nighttime books, which did not work out, mainly because last month I was crazy and somehow ended up reading 18 books, which don't even get me started on filming the wrap-up video for that, because I didn't do a vlog because that would have been too easy. And now I have to explain all those books. Yeah, this month we're actually gonna be pulling 10 from here because I will probably actually read that many. I was considering at first only pulling 8 because I do have the 2 Keeper of the Lost City books that I'm trying to make up for, but worst case scenario, I just take what I pull and move it to next month. So 10 it is. I am going to pull them all and then I'll open them together because this jar kind of hates me. So wish me luck. I'll be back. Hello, 2, 3, 4. Get out. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. 10. Okay, and then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna read them all out, and then I'm gonna get my computer, and then we'll go into what each one is. Because honestly, I filled this TBR jar for the first time last October. Yeah. Anyway, continuing. The first book is The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. I somehow ended up with book 3 in the series. I don't know how that's happened. I don't even remember buying it, which means it probably came from the used bookstore sale because I bought a bunch of random stuff that day. Hell yeah! +1 Sign of Affection novel. Whoa. Novel? +1 Sign of Affection volume. Jesus Christ. Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I really don't remember anything about that book, but it's on my TBR, so I remembered it at some point. 4. Okay. Maisie Chen's Last Chance, I believe is in middle grade. I might be wrong. I don't know why I keep ignore me holding them up to the camera. Oh shit. We have a classic, Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I mispronounced that 100%. Oh yay! +1 City Spies series by James Ponti. What the River Knows by Isabella Ibanez. To Gaze Upon Wicked God. Whoa. What am I trying to say? To Gaze Upon To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly Chang. Oh my god. And then An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. Very swag, very cool. Okay, guys, great news. I found out that my computer cord does in fact plug in that wall outlet that's behind you. So I don't have to plug it into that one up there that like knocks over everything. Cool. So with the amount of books that I read last month, including manga, the way it like shakes out, I basically can bring in 4 new books. One of those slots I already know that I'm going to be using for the workbook that matches the Japanese textbook that I got. I thought maybe I could get away with not having it, but like, yeah, I totally need it. And then we have 3 other spaces to fill. One of those I already know is gonna be Sign of Affection because I am working on collecting the series. You can kind of see them like poking out up there. But the other 2 slots are open. Usual way this goes is if it's my first time reading anything by this author, I try to 100% get it from the library just because I don't know if I'm going to vibe with the writer's style. After that, if I cannot find it at my library, I'll try the used bookstore, and if I can't find it at the used bookstore, then I'll go to Barnes. I really don't want to bring in books that I don't like But yeah, I'm gonna basically look up these books, give you some brief synopsises for them, and then we will see what is going to be taking those last 2 slots. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. This is about a woman named Mackenzie who hasn't been dating for a while. She recently is a doctor, I believe, out of residency, but her grandma is obsessed with her finding a match, and she lies about who she's with, and she accidentally says the name of the guy that she hates the most. And that sounds fun. I know that this one, what I've heard is that it's Omegaverse, and I'm excited because I remember this coming out around the same time as Bride, and people saying Bride is Omegaverse, and it kind of wasn't. It was ish. Omegaverse suggested. So I am excited about this. Alright, the next book that I'm going to be talking about is Maisie Chen's Last Chance. This seems to be a middle grade book about a girl named Maisie. Her family moves to a city called Last Chance, Minnesota to take care of her grandparents. While she's there, she works with her family in their family restaurant, and she finds out a lot about her family history and about the people around her. The tags for this one, the genre tags, are middle grade, historical fiction, realistic fiction, family, children's. That's exciting. I really hope my library has this one. I noticed my library has a really great selection of middle grade and YA. Where they tend to falter is the adult fantasy. So I feel pretty safe that they have this one. I'm crossing my fingers they do, because that sounds really fun. Next one is another volume of Sign of Affection by Sue Morishita. This is basically a manga about a girl who is deaf. She goes to university and she is kind of aiming to be more independent as well as find romance, and the male lead is this guy that she runs into on the subway, but he travels all the time and he really likes learning languages, so he's really interested to learn sign language, and they become friends and they start dating. It moves pretty quickly. Yeah, the anime is really cute. I've been trying not to watch the anime until I caught up, have read that part in the manga, and I'm on volume 6 of the manga. This is gonna be volume 7 of the manga already, so I finally got to watch the season that's out, and it's so cute. It's really fun. So that one I do believe is going to be my second buy for the month, just because I am working on collecting that series. You can see 1 through 4 up there. 5 and 6 are in the bin to do for my July books because I read both of them this month. Well, last month for you, but this month for me. The next book that I'm going to be talking about is actually a book that I feel was really popular a couple of years ago, quite literally a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, is What the River Knows by Isabella Ibanez. It is the first book in the Secrets of the Nile series. So this book basically follows a girl who, she lives in the 19th century, and she finds out that her parents tragically die, and she inherits this fortune. I'm reading it and I don't know a good way to summarize this, but basically she goes off to do some archaeological stuff in Egypt, and she ends up going on an adventure. That's all I really know about it. There's magic, it's fantasy, it's historical fiction. I'm really excited because it says The Mummy meets Death on the Nile. I've never read/watched Death on the Nile, but I love The Mummy. It is my favorite ride at Universal Studios, even though it's literally 2 seconds long. Who decided that? I don't know. But yeah, I'm very excited. I've heard very good things about this first book. I have not heard as good things about the following book, but I'm going to try really hard to not let that cloud my vision. The next book that I'm going to be talking about is An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. I am kind of torn how I feel about reading this one. The reason why it's on here, I have a feeling, well, I know my library is going to have it because John Green books are, I think, still pretty popular. Yeah, when I was a kid, I was not allowed to read John Green books because my parents considered them too dark. So I have not read An Abundance of Catherines, but I really want to know what it's about. I don't know how to explain John Green books, so I'm just going to avoid it and let you know that that is going to be on my list. The tags for An Abundance of Catherines are young adult fiction, romance, contemporary, realistic fiction, coming of age, and teen. So I have a feeling it's just going to be right in that YA category. I know what to expect with John Green books, so yeah. The next book that I'm going to talk about, I am kind of really excited about because I feel this is one of those books that, because of K-pop Demon Hunter's popularity, I feel in all those TikToks where people are you already missed K-pop Demon Hunters, what books should you read to kind of get that vibe again? And that book is To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods. It's the first book in the Gods Beyond the Skies series by Molly X. Chang. I'm very excited. I actually don't want to read what this is about because I want to leave it as a surprise. But yes, I am very excited about that one. I just know the tags for this one are fantasy, young adult, romance fiction, magic, young adult fantasy, science fiction. Cool, I did not expect the science fiction tag. So that's cool. The next book that I'm going to be talking about is Bringing Down the Duke by E.B. Dunmore. This is the first book in A League of Extraordinary Women. It's basically a romance series set in like 1880s England. And the tags for this one are romance, historical fiction, historical romance, historical fiction, adult audiobook. I'm very excited because I remember being pretty excited about this series. Again, I somehow ended up with book 3. It's called A Portrait of a Scotsman, and I don't know why I have it. I really don't know how I ended up with it, which is a little bit of an issue. Oh, the next one is the book I think I'm most scared of for the month, and that is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I'm really sorry, I'm mispronouncing that. I am aware that this is a classic, and I really want to avoid getting this on my slow books list because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a library book, and I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous about my ability to get through this quickly. So this one's tags are classics fiction, romance, Russia, historical fiction, Russian literature. Whenever I see literature, I like cringe on the inside. I don't have anything specifically against it. I just know that I struggle with it. Cross my fingers, hoping for the best. How many more books do we have? I'm scared. The next book that we have is book 2 in the City Spies series by James Ponti. It's called Golden Gate. I am excited for this one. It is a middle grade mystery adventure book, basically focusing around this like team of kids. It kind of reminds me of Carmen Sandiego, if you've seen that, but like without Carmen and like just focusing on the kids. So yeah, I really liked the first book, and I'm really excited about this next book. Guessing from the picture and from the title, it's going to take place in San Francisco, which is fun. The last one is another one that I'm scared for because I see this book everywhere and I don't really remember. I have no idea what it's about. It is Phantasma, which is book 1 in Wicked Games by Kaylee Smith. The tags are fantasy, romance, dark romance, paranormal, fantasy romance, gothic, which sounds very fun and very cool. And I do like the fact that it says romance. Yep, that's all I got. So real quick, I'm gonna go look. I need my phone, and I'm recording on my phone. So I'm gonna see which of these books Libby has, and I'm gonna see how many of them I can get an audiobook for, because with the number of books, I tend to do better with audiobooks. And then I will see how many books the library has, and after that, we will make our final decisions on where I need to go to pick these things up. Good news, we have found most of them at the library. James Ponti, what am I trying to say? City Spies, I was able to find an audiobook for, as well as the ebook on Libby, so that's already on my phone. I was able to find a pretty good selection at my library. Maisie Chen's Last Chance, I do have to go visit one of the branches for my library, but it's okay because we have it. I was also able to get, I will be able to get, because I have to go, get Anna Karenina, To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, An Abundance of Catherines, and What the River Knows. They're all checked in. The library has weird hours right now because they're under construction, so they don't open till 2:30. It's currently like 1 o'clock, but the branch is open and I need to go to the bank and I need to get gas. So yeah, but if you have noticed, that means there's quite a few that I was not able to find. Technically my library does have a copy of Bringing Down the Duke, but that because I have book 3, I do want book 1. That one I will be getting, and then Sign of Affection I will be getting, and then I will also have to purchase Phantasma and The Fake Mate. And if you saw the math, you'll know that that's one more book than was considered in the allowed to buy. Usually I don't do this, but I do have a rule where I can trade 2 manga for 1 book point. I'm literally like 1 point short, like regular book point from that 5th book. So I'm allowing myself to trade 2 manga points for that book. It's again something I don't really like to do just because I don't pull manga that often, so getting that 6 points of manga is hard already. But for this situation, I will do it. Oh, I just saw the box, that's why. Do you want to also meet a new friend of mine? I got a Hehe, I'm pretty sure, from the Have a Seat collection. So now, I have a green grape, and I have Hehe. And honestly, the funniest part is I bought neither of these for myself. This one's for my aunt and this one's for my mom. Yeah, he's honestly very cute. His head is very wiggly because when my aunt and I were trying to figure out if he was a real Labubu or not, we kind of like messed with his head and we kind of pulled a little too hard, so oops. There's a high chance that this one could still be a Lafufu, but yeah, he's very cute, so I really don't care. This one I know for a fact is a Labubu. The person that my mom got it from Pop Mart, so yeah. Anyway, but aren't they so cute? Now I kind of just want like one from the Big Energy collection, just so I have like, you know, one of each. Because if you only open one blind box, there's no way for you to get duplicates. Yeah. Okay, I'm procrastinating because I don't want to drive to any of the things I want to do. So we'll go do that now. We made it to Barnes. Sorry, this is like super awkward. We made it to Barnes. Yay, I went to the bank, I got gas, and I was gonna go to the library first, but Barnes is on my way from where I get gas. So we're gonna go to Barnes first. And my goal is to stay under $100. I know I'm going for 5 books, but I need them all to be under $100 together. Luckily, I have the Barnes membership, so hopefully with the 10% off, we're good. But yeah, if it is above $100 with all 5 of them, I'm just going to have to unfortunately put one on hold. I also have decided that I'm not going to be going to the branch library to go get that extra book. Instead, I'm just going to put it on hold at my library. So yes, that's for Maisie Chen. Anyway, let's go to Barnes. And then I went to the store and didn't get any footage. Yay. Weird angle. Whoa. Okay. Hello. Because my phone doesn't want to be up. We're semi-successful at Barnes & Noble. I have secured everything for my Barnes list. Can you even see anything? Of course you can't. We have secured everything from Barnes except for Volume 7 of Sign of Affection, which I wasn't expecting to have to order, but I do need to order it, so I put in the order for that, and then the Japanese workbook. I did find the other 3, however, it was really funny because the employees were like, we have 3 copies of Phantasma. Where are these 3 copies? And it literally was like 3 or 4 employees looking, and it turned out to be on one of the tables. But what happened was like someone had put a different book over them, so they literally had to look at all the adult fantasy tables to try to find them, which was, I felt really bad, and I was trying to help, but I wasn't much help. So now off to the library. It just opened. I think it's literally like 2:30 right now, so it just opened. Hopefully I can swoop in and get the books I want. Yes. However, I did start listening to City Spies, Golden Gate already, and I forgot how much I love these characters. They're so much fun. The main girl, her name's Brooklyn. She is so funny and so sassy, and like, I totally believe, like, I know I'm sweaty, I'm gross, and like, this is a weird angle, but she's so much fun. And yeah, definitely more. I'm planning on doing reading vlogs this month because I'm caught up, but let's put an asterisk on that. So, to the library. I'm also starving, so I need to go find food, and I don't know what I'm gonna get yet, so hopefully my library visit is quick. Hopefully this angle's a little bit better. Not great, but second haul of the day acquired, because one of the reasons this bag is like so huge is because I did find the audiobook version of Anna Karenina. The only issue was it's the old like disc sets. So it's actually 2 parts. That's part 1. It has 15 CDs. Oh my god. And then here is part 2, and it also has 15 CDs. They're due August 20th, so I'm gonna pop those in now instead of City Spies, and I'm gonna listen to them. I decided where I'm gonna go get food. So I will go get food, and I will check in with you when I make it to my house. Hello. I am back. I'm no longer sweating. I'm no longer in my car at a weird angle. So here is everything that I plan on reading for the month of August. I don't know about you, but I'm convinced I can do it. Do you think I can do it? I'm gonna drop this. I need to put it in my lap. I'm convinced I got this. I do think, however, that my punishment this month, well, next month technically the month after that. What am I talking about? I think my punishment for not finishing this should be that I have to finish Demon Copperhead with nothing in between. Like, if I don't get through all of this, I need to, in October, I have to finish Demon Copperhead. No ifs, ands, or buts. I can't have it in my nighttime books. Like, I just have to finish it. So that definitely will be motivation to get this done. Of course, a little bit of an exception for, you know, this one, and this one. But everything else in this pile has to be done. So wish me luck. If you made it this far, congratulations. You've made it to the end of the video. I'd really appreciate it if you liked or subscribed or both. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year. And yeah, for all of you who are subscribed, I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys a lot. Leave in the comments, what is a book that you're looking forward to reading in August? That's everything from me. Okay, bye! The dogs are barking. Why are they barking? I don't know. Do I care? No. And then for some of you who follow me on Storygraph, you know that is book 2 in the city. So, okay.